How is it that Madrid keep doing this, man? They are just masters of late wins. It's like they have this supernatural ability to pull victories out of nowhere, especially in the Champions League. Their mentality is just different. It's almost like they feed off the pressure instead of crumbling under it. Great game, man. Great game. This game was about attack versus attack because both teams had no idea how to defend. The number of chances that fell for both teams was ridiculous. It was like watching a basketball game with how end to end it was. The tactical plans seemed to go out the window, and it just became pure entertainment. The game started, and Madrid had a lot of chances to score. Like a lot. They could have scored 4 goals in the first 10 minutes alone. Bellingham was finding these pockets of space that shouldn't exist. Vinicius was terrorizing the right side, and Rodrigo was making these incredible runs. It was just chance after chance after chance. Man City were struggling to contain them, looking unusually vulnerable at the back. Stones was caught in no man's land a few times, and even Diaz was looking shaky, which is so unlike him. Then all of a sudden, the game flipped, and now City were in control. It was like watching a completely different match. They started dominating possession in their typical style, and they also created chance after chance. And the goal Haaland scored? My word, what a ball by Grealish. The vision to spot that run, the weight of the pass, perfect. Such a shame he went off injured, which was a blow for City because he was absolutely balling out in the first half, giving Valverde all sorts of problems. And what a run by Gvardiol to see the space and run into it. He has such an attacking mind for a defender. It's like watching a midfielder trapped in a defender's body. The way he times these runs is something else. But then the cushion for Haaland to come onto and strike? Perfect. Because most people will try to control it and have a shot to go for goal, but he was like, nah, let me give it Haaland. The finish from him was just clinical. Had to be against someone like Courtois, who makes saving impossible shots look routine. Was it offside? The commentators went into this whole thing about how Haaland's hand was in a forward motion, so it's not offside. These offside rules, man, I swear they get more complicated every season. The video review took so long. Sometimes I think even the refs need a flowchart to figure it out. You know what, though? After the goal, Man City had more control over the game somewhat. They kept the ball, fully controlled the pace of the game. And you thought maybe City would win this game, especially given how the first half ended 1-0. But then the second half starts, and it's end-to-end action again, like neither team had heard of the concept of game management. Mbappe scores such a fluke goal, it basically comes off his shin. The irony of it all is that Mbappe today was so poor finishing-wise. He had these golden opportunities that the Mbappe we know would bury 9 times out of 10. He could have scored a hat trick or even 4 goals with the way chances were coming to him. But football has a funny way of working out. His actual goal comes off his shin. The beautiful game can be so cruel and yet so entertaining. As they say, it doesn't matter how they go in. What matters is that it does go in. And then poised at 1-1, you could see that this game could go either way. The tension in the stadium was palpable. You could feel it through the TV screen. Most people, myself included, predicted a 2-2 draw, so I was waiting to see more goals, and boy did they deliver. The beautiful chaos of Champions League football at its finest. Tactics go out the window, and it becomes pure emotion and skill. These are the kinds of games that remind you why you fell in love with football in the first place. The way both teams just refused to sit back and defend their position was remarkable. It's like they both decided defense was optional and just went for it. You don't often see games at this level where both teams throw caution to the wind like this. Usually, there's more tactical discipline, more structure, but this was just pure, unadulterated football entertainment. Then the penalty for City. Was it a penalty? Yes. Ceballos just clashed into Foden, and there wasn't much room for debate there. It was one of those challenges where you know immediately it's going to be given. And Haaland stepped up and does what he does best. Clinical, powerful, unstoppable. Courtois could have known which way it was going and still wouldn't have saved it. Now at 2-1, you'd think City would try to control the game, slow things down, but no. The game still did not fully settle. As I mentioned before about Mbappe wasting chances, both teams were guilty of profligacy in front of goal. Both teams just decided defending was optional on the night. It was like watching a highlights reel in real time, free-flowing attacking football at its finest. City created chances, Madrid created chances. It was like a pendulum swinging back and forth. Both teams had opportunities to really grab the game by the scruff of the neck, but ultimately didn't take them. The game was crying out for someone to take control, but neither team seemed interested in doing that. And then Brahim. The storyline writes itself, doesn't it? Coming on in the 84th minute and scoring in the 86th minute should tell you everything about how end-to-end this game was. A former City boy gives Madrid the equalizer. The poetry of football. It always seems to work out this way. When Madrid equalized, the camera panned to Haaland, and you could see him telling his teammates to focus. He knew, everyone knew, this is Madrid, and Madrid will punish you if you lose concentration for even a second, and punish them, they did. First of all, Ederson, what are you doing with that pass in the dying embers of the game? It's the kind of decision that haunts goalkeepers in their sleep. But he plays this terrible ball, and then Kovacic makes a mistake trying to, I'm still not sure what he was trying to do. Was it a control? A pass to Rico Lewis? It looked like even he didn't know. But then Vinicius gets the ball and boom, they're off to the races. You could tell. You just could tell it was going to be a goal. This is Madrid. It was written in the stars. Vinicius takes it away from Ederson, who, by the way, had no business being that far out from his goal. Vinny nudges it perfectly into the path of Bellingham. And you're not going to see Bellingham miss an open net like that. The composure to slot it home, the celebration that followed, pure Madrid magic at the death. The thing about Madrid is they don't just win games. They win them in the most dramatic way possible. It's like they feed off the chaos, thrive in these moments where other teams would crumble. This game had everything. Goals, drama, tactical chaos, individual brilliance, and of course, that trademark Madrid late show. The kind of game that reminds you why Champions League nights are so special. Crazy, crazy game indeed. One for the history books. The way Madrid managed to turn what looked like a certain defeat into victory, it's becoming their trademark in the Champions League. They seem to have this supernatural ability to never give up, to always believe they can pull something out of the hat. And when you combine that mentality with the individual quality they have, these kinds of comebacks start to make sense, even if they still feel magical every single time. The fact that now City has to go to the Bernabéu to try to win there is crazy. The Bernabéu on a Champions League night? You're thinking that's going to happen? That place becomes a fortress, a cauldron of noise and passion that seems to give Madrid an extra player. The history, the atmosphere, the expectation, it all weighs heavy on visiting teams. Even the most experienced players can feel their legs turn to jelly when that Champions League anthem plays and the white wall of Madrid fans starts roaring. But here's the thing. Madrid was there for the taking in this first leg. City had chances to score, clear-cut opportunities that on any other night would have been buried. You could see it in Pep's reactions on the touchline, the frustration of knowing they could have put this tie to bed. They can only blame themselves for losing this. Those missed chances, the defensive lapses, that moment of madness at the end, these are the fine margins that decide Champions League ties. I fully expect Madrid to win the second leg and continue forward in the competition. They just seem to have this extra gear in Europe, this ability to rise to the occasion when the stakes are highest. The Bernabéu becomes this mythical place where the impossible becomes possible, where the magic of Madrid's European nights takes over. For City? Man, it's looking tough. At least they have the FA Cup to fight for. And they're in this weird position of having to secure top 4 as well, something that seemed unthinkable at the start of the season. Geez, Pep is having a bad time. The invincible aura of last 2 seasons' treble winners has faded somewhat. He has to figure it out and fast because the games keep coming and there's no time to dwell on defeats. Could City win the second leg? Technically, yes. They have the quality, they have the experience, they've done it before. But at the Bernabéu, that's going to be tough, really tough. The kind of challenge that can define seasons and careers. I'm open to being proven wrong, though. Very open. Football has a funny way of making fools of us all when we least expect it. For Madrid, man, comeback kings doesn't even begin to describe it. They just become a different animal in the Champions League. It's like they have this genetic code that activates in European competitions. Because this performance was beautiful to watch, even with, or maybe because of, its chaotic nature. The way they combine that never say die attitude with moments of pure footballing brilliance, it's something special. Maybe Madrid just has to forget about defending and put all their might and power into attacking, because what we saw today was a joy to watch. It was like watching football in its purest form, attack, skill versus skill, without all the tactical restraints we often see in modern football. The freedom they played with, the confidence to just go for it. My goodness, it was like watching kids in the playground, but with world-class ability. The game ends 3-2 to Madrid, and they go to the Bernabéu, leading by 1 goal. That return leg is going to be crazy, the kind of night that makes the Champions League special. The atmosphere will be electric, the tension will be through the roof, and every touch, every pass, every shot will feel like it could decide the tie. These are the games that players dream about, that fans live for, that make football the beautiful game. You can already picture it. The Bernabeu under the lights, both teams knowing what's at stake, the crowd holding their breath with every attack. Will Madrid do their usual Champions League magic? Will City find a way to overcome the fortress that is the Bernabeu? Will we see another game of pure attacking football, or will both teams finally remember how to defend? One thing's for sure, it's going to be another classic Champions League night. The kind of game that people will talk about for years to come, regardless of the outcome. Football at its dramatic best, where legends are made and dreams are either realized or shattered in the blink of an eye. Anyway, this has been Across the Pitch. Over and out.